George Washington, Whiskey Rebellion Response, 1794. America's first scandal involved the first president personally leading troops against American citizens. When farmers in western Pennsylvania violently resisted a federal whiskey tax, Washington raised a 13,000-man militia and led them west, the only sitting president to lead troops in the field. Critics accused Washington of overreacting to suppress legitimate protest and establish federal supremacy by force. The rebellion collapsed without major violence, but questions about executive power and the use of military force against citizens began immediately. John Adams, Alien and Sedition, Acts, 1798. John Adams signed laws that criminalized criticism of the government, the most obvious violation of the First Amendment in American history. The Sedition Act made it illegal to publish false, scandalous, or malicious writing against the government. Newspaper editors were imprisoned for criticizing Adams. Number 1. The Alien Acts allowed the deportation of foreigners deemed dangerous. These laws were used against political opponents and contributed to Adams's defeat in 1800. The acts expired or were repealed, but Adams's legacy was permanently tarnished by suppressing free speech. Thomas Jefferson, Sally Hemings relationship. Thomas Jefferson, author of All Men Are Created Equal, owned over 600 slaves and had a decades-long relationship with Sally Hemings, an enslaved woman he owned. Hemings was also the half-sister of Jefferson's deceased wife, as both had the same father. The relationship began when Hemings was about 16 and Jefferson was 44. Hemings bore at least 6 children, several of whom Jefferson freed. Jefferson's political opponents publicly accused him of the relationship during his presidency, which he never publicly confirmed or denied. DNA evidence in 1998 confirmed that Jefferson likely fathered at least one of Hemings' children. The scandal reveals the hypocrisy at the heart of the founding, with the author of American Liberty enslaving his own children. Andrew Jackson, Petticoat Affair, 1831. The Petticoat Affair, also called the Eaton Affair, involved a social scandal that nearly destroyed Jackson's cabinet. Peggy Eaton, wife of Secretary of War John Eaton, was shunned by Washington society, including the wives of cabinet members, due to rumors about her past. Jackson, whose late wife Rachel had been slandered during the 1828 campaign, contributing to her death in his view, defended Peggy fiercely. Vice President John C. Calhoun's wife led the social boycott. The feud between Jackson and Calhoun over the affair contributed to their broader political split over nullification. Jackson eventually forced his entire cabinet to resign to resolve the situation, elevating Martin Van Buren, who had supported Peggy, while marginalizing Calhoun, Ulysses S. Grant, Credit Mobilier, and Whiskey Ring, 1870s. Grant's presidency was plagued by corruption scandals, though Grant himself was personally honest. The Credit Mobilier scandal involved a railroad construction company that bribed congressmen with stock to prevent an investigation of overcharging the government. Grant's first vice president, Schuyler Colfax, was implicated. The Whiskey Ring scandal involved Treasury officials and distillers conspiring to avoid whiskey taxes, defrauding the government of millions. Grant's personal secretary was indicted. The Indian Trading Post scandal involved Secretary of War William Belknap accepting bribes for trading post appointments. Belknap resigned and was impeached, but acquitted. These scandals tainted Grant's reputation despite his personal integrity, making his administration synonymous with Gilded Age corruption. Grover Cleveland, out-of-wedlock child, 1884. During the 1884 campaign, opponents revealed that Grover Cleveland had fathered an illegitimate child 10 years earlier. Cleveland shocked advisors by admitting the truth, advising them to tell the truth. He had financially supported the child and mother, Maria Halpin. Republicans chanted, "Ma, Ma, where's my pa?" Cleveland won anyway, with Democrats adding, "Gone to the White House. Ha ha ha." Cleveland's honesty about a personal failing, unusual for the era, may have actually helped him. His opponent, James Blaine, was tainted by financial corruption, and voters apparently preferred Cleveland's personal scandal to Blaine's public corruption. Warren G. Harding, Teapot Dome and personal affairs, 1920s. Warren Harding's presidency is synonymous with scandal. The Teapot Dome scandal involved Secretary of the Interior Albert Fall secretly leasing naval oil reserves at Teapot Dome, Wyoming, and Elk Hills, California to private companies in exchange for bribes. Fall became the first cabinet member imprisoned for crimes committed in office. The Veterans Bureau scandal involved its director stealing hundreds of millions from the agency meant to help World War I veterans. Harding also had extensive extramarital affairs, including with Nan Britton, who claimed Harding fathered her daughter, DNA confirmed in 2015, and Carrie Phillips, whom the Republican Party paid to stay quiet during the 1920 campaign. Harding died in 1923 before the worst revelations emerged, possibly sparing him from impeachment. Richard Nixon, Watergate, 1972 to 1974. Watergate is the defining presidential scandal, leading to the only presidential resignation in American history. On the 17th of June, 1972, 5 men connected to Nixon's re-election campaign were arrested, breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex. Nixon wasn't involved in planning the break-in, but immediately began directing the cover-up, ordering the CIA to obstruct the FBI investigation, paying hush money to defendants, and orchestrating perjury. Nixon's secret White House taping system proved his guilt. When ordered to release the tapes, Nixon fired the special prosecutor in the Saturday Night Massacre, which backfired catastrophically. The tapes revealed Nixon directing the cover-up just 6 days after the break-in. Facing certain impeachment and removal, Nixon resigned on the 9th of August, 1974. 48 people were convicted of crimes. Watergate established that even presidents are not above the law, though Nixon's pardon by President Ford prevented criminal prosecution. Ronald Reagan, Iran-Contra, 1985 to 1987. The Reagan administration secretly sold weapons to Iran and used proceeds to illegally fund Nicaraguan rebels. Congress had explicitly banned military aid to the Contras. National Security Council staff, particularly Oliver North, diverted arms sale profits to the Contras without congressional knowledge. The weapons sales violated an embargo on Iran and potentially violated laws against negotiating with hostage takers. Reagan claimed he didn't know about the diversion, though he admitted authorizing arms sales. North and National Security Advisor John Poindexter were convicted, but had their convictions overturned on appeal. Several officials were later pardoned by President George H.W. Bush. Reagan's reputation survived largely intact, though the scandal revealed a shadow government operating outside constitutional oversight. Bill Clinton Lewinsky Affair and Impeachment, 1998 to 1999. Bill Clinton's affair with two-year-old White House intern Monica Lewinsky led to his impeachment, though not his removal. The relationship occurred in 1995 to 1997 and was exposed during independent counsel Kenneth Starr's investigation of unrelated matters. Clinton denied the affair under oath in a deposition for Paula Jones's sexual harassment lawsuit, famously parsing, "It depends on what the meaning of the word is." When DNA evidence on Lewinsky's dress proved the relationship, Clinton admitted to an inappropriate relationship on national television. The House impeached Clinton on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice in December 1998, along party lines. The Senate acquitted him in February 1999, well short of the 2/3 needed for removal. Clinton's approval ratings actually increased during impeachment, with the public distinguishing personal failings from fitness for office. Clinton was later disbarred in Arkansas and fined for giving misleading testimony. George W. Bush, WMD Intelligence and Abu Ghraib, 2003 to 2004. The Bush administration's justification for the Iraq War was based on claims that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction, which proved false. Secretary of State Colin Powell's 2003 UN presentation asserting Iraqi WMD programs was based on flawed and manipulated intelligence. No WMDs were ever found. While not technically a scandal in the legal sense, The failure of intelligence and questions about whether the administration manipulated information to justify a predetermined war damaged Bush's credibility. The Abu Ghraib scandal in 2004 revealed American soldiers torturing and humiliating Iraqi detainees at a Baghdad prison. Photographs showed prisoners being abused, stacked naked in pyramids, threatened with dogs, and subjected to sexual humiliation. The images shocked the world and damaged America's moral authority. While the administration blamed low-ranking soldiers, investigations suggested systemic failures in command and interrogation policies approved at higher levels. Barack Obama, IRS, targeting, and Fast and Furious. The IRS scandal involved the agency giving extra scrutiny to Tea Party and conservative groups seeking tax-exempt status during 2010 to 2012. While investigations found poor management rather than political direction from the White House, the appearance of using the IRS against political opponents was damaging. Operation Fast and Furious, run by the ATF, allowed illegal gun sales to Mexican cartels to trace weapons trafficking. The operation lost track of thousands of guns, some of which were used in crimes, including the murder of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. Attorney General Eric Holder was held in contempt of Congress for refusing to release documents. While neither scandal involved Obama personally, they fueled criticism about the administration's overreach and competence. Donald Trump. 2 impeachments, 2019 to 2021. Donald Trump was impeached twice, more than any president in history. The first impeachment in December 2019 charged Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress for pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, a political rival, while withholding military aid and a White House meeting. A whistleblower revealed that Trump asked Ukrainian President Zelensky to investigate Biden during a July 2019 phone call. The Senate acquitted Trump in February 2020 along mostly party lines. The second impeachment in January 2021 charged Trump with incitement of insurrection following the January 6th Capitol attack. Trump held a rally telling supporters to fight like hell before a mob stormed the Capitol, disrupting the electoral vote certification and causing 5 deaths. The House impeached Trump 1 week before he left office. The Senate trial occurred after Trump left office and resulted in acquittal, though 7 Republicans voted to convict, the most bipartisan conviction vote in impeachment history. Trump also faced numerous other scandals, including hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, the Mueller investigation into Russian election interference, and business fraud allegations. Joe Biden, classified documents, and Hunter Biden. Joe Biden faced an investigation over classified documents found at his Delaware home and former office, similar to charges against Trump regarding Mar-a-Lago documents. A special counsel investigation concluded in 2024 that while Biden mishandled classified information, criminal charges were not warranted, partly because Biden cooperated with investigators, unlike Trump's resistance. The report controversially described Biden as an elderly man with a poor memory, raising questions about his mental fitness. Separately, Biden's son Hunter faced federal charges for tax evasion and illegal gun possession, unrelated to his father. Republicans investigated Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings, alleging improper influence peddling, though no direct evidence implicated Joe Biden in wrongdoing. These investigations fueled partisan attacks on Biden's fitness and ethics. Many other scandals have affected presidents. Chester Arthur's political machine background created customism concerns. Woodrow Wilson's secret stroke left his wife effectively running the government. Lyndon Johnson faced credibility gaps regarding the escalation of the Vietnam War. Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy, accepted payments from Libya. George H.W. Bush faced questions about his role in Iran-Contra as vice president. Every administration has had some scandal, ethical lapse, or political crisis that damaged its standing. Presidential scandals range from personal failings to criminal abuse of power. Some, such as Watergate and Iran-Contra, involve systematic lawbreaking at the highest levels. Others, like Clinton's affair, involved personal conduct that became legal issues through cover-up attempts. Some scandals ended presidencies, Others barely dented approval ratings. The pattern suggests that cover-ups are often worse than underlying conduct, that partisan loyalty determines how scandals are perceived, and that presidential power creates opportunities for abuse that require vigilant oversight. As long as imperfect humans hold the most powerful office in the world, presidential scandals will continue.